What up, Laker fam?
Laker fam!
Let's go, Lakers!
Let's go, let's go, let's go! Let's go!
We ballin'. But it's purple. Oh, let's go, baby. We ballin'. Ain't nobody in the world that can stop us.
LA, I got us. Who with me? Let's roll.
Oh, yeah, you already know.
You know what they yell when they see me?
Hurling, go, hurling, go.
Some Diane's on my way to the
Slam dunk.
gonna hate her like who won it?
2, 1.
Yeah. Champions of the spot. Watch how they watch us. Meet me at the top.
LA, baby.
Nah, we ain't gon' stop. LA be like, Laker fans like, LA be like.
We ballin'. Ain't nobody in the world that can stop us. We ballin'. It's all purple and gold, baby. It's all purple and gold.
He's in stride. It rolls around and drops. Yeah, Luka turns immediately. See his eyes look up the floor.
What up, Lakers Nation? What it do? Lakers crew, welcome to Lakers Over Everything. I'm your host, Marcel, aka LOE, which of course stands for Lakers Over Everything. Purple and gold till we die. Purple and gold we ride. I bleed purple. My heart beats gold. It is and always will be. Lakers Over Everything. Welcome to the LOE Daily Podcast. How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing out there? Happy Monday to you all. And let's dive right in. This is a new segment here on Lakers Over Everything. We'll try to drop this thing every morning for you guys, where we just spend a few moments and talk all things Lakers. And we got a lot to talk about. Oh man, first that loss. What a loss, man. The Lakers really tried to put a wrench in our Saturday evening, right? Tough loss. We're talking about that 146-115 total beatdown. That's a 31-point beatdown to not the Denver Nuggets, not the OKC Thunder, not the Boston Celtics, not the Cleveland Cavaliers. No, to the 31-40. Well, now 31-40, but at the time, 30-40 Chicago Bulls. Yes, the Lakers lost by 31 points to a 40-loss team. Absolutely insane. Absolutely unacceptable. Any way you want to slice it. And, you know, we thought that it was going to be a fun night. We got LeBron back. We got Rui back. Both of those guys, they've missed. We've been missing them for the last couple of weeks. So for the first time in weeks, the Lakers were fully healthy. I mean, they rolled out a starting five of Austin, Luka, Jackson Hayes, LeBron, and DFS. So for the first time, you know, we were fully healthy. You got Rui back, so Rui was coming off the bench. Now, of course, Rui was on a minutes restriction after missing, 12 games, a dozen games. So he was on a minutes restriction, but he was back. He was just back. We were just happy to have him back. We had just got Jax back, right? DFS and Gabe Vincent, those guys had been in the lineup over the last couple of weeks. We were finally fully healthy, and we thought it was going to be a fun night. It got started out to be a great night, right? Luka dropped another 17 points in the first quarter. 17 points in the first quarter. The last time he had took the court, he dropped 21 in the first in that Denver matchup. And then he comes out and does it again with 17. So we thought it was going down that night. Fast forward to halftime, Luka is on a scorcher. He had 31 points. He had 31 points at the half, on fire, including 7 3-pointers. Yes, 7 of them things, man. I thought we were going to see some Lakers history. I even had to post on X reminding everyone the Lakers franchise record for most threes in a game is 12. And of course, that was set by the one, the only, the late, great Kobe Bean Bryant with 12. So Again, that record was 12. Luka had 7, so he was more than halfway there. And I thought we were going to see some Lakers history that night. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Fast forward, we all know how that story ends. Again, 146-115. It ends with Josh Giddey almost recording a quadruple-double. Not a triple-double. I mean, he got the triple-double halfway through the third quarter. So it didn't even take him 4 quarters to get that. Now, he was working on a quadruple-double. And, I mean, you can count on your hands the amount of quadruple-doubles there's been in the NBA. And we almost gave up one to Josh Giddey. Now, really fast, the Bulls, 40 losses, but they're not bottom of the, they're not way down there. They're not bottom of the tank stinker, right? Actually, just looking at their March record, they came into that game last night 6-4 over their last 10 games, and since the All-Star break, they have been playing really well, actually. And they're scoring team. They score a lot of points, particularly after the All-Star break. We know they moved. They got rid of Zach LaVine, and they've been running it what they've been running it with, and they've been playing some decent at best basketball. They're down there at the play-in, so they're trying to make some noise. But offensively, since the All-Star break, or since the trade deadline, since the All-Star break, they've actually been the 6th best offense in the entire league, not just in the Eastern Conference, in the entire league. Of course, they put up 146 on us. But the game prior, they put up 128 against the Kings, 121 against Phoenix. Now, I know those are not good teams, but still, they can put up some points. Another 121 against the Pacers, 114, 116, 111, 125 against Orlando, which is a good defensive team, 117 against the Cleveland Cavaliers, which we know what they are. And then another 112 against the Pacers. That's pretty much what they've been putting up since the All-Star break, right? But 146, that's insane, man. 146 points. In fact, that's the most points, or it tied the most points that the Lakers have ever given up in regulation. So this is not including an overtime. In regulation, in 4 quarters, in 48 minutes. It's the most amount of points that the Lakers had given up since you had to go back all the way to 1984, where they gave up that matching 146 to, I believe it was the Denver Nuggets I saw. So insane that they would do that, especially to this Lakers defense, a team that's over the past few months has been the top-rated defense in the entire NBA. top, So it's insane. The defense was not there last night. They gave up 39 points in the third quarter after giving up 64 points in the first half. They turn around and give up another 39 points in the third quarter. So it wasn't there for 4 quarters straight. It wasn't an anomaly. It was just all night. They didn't just get hot for 1 quarter. They were hot all night. Absolutely insane. Kobe White, he was on a tear from the jump. I mean, from opening tip, he was going off, and that just continued all night. Kobe White, in fact, he scored 36 points. He was 12 of 17 from the field. He was 6 of 9 from 3, 66% from 3 for Kobe White. Just crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. So it wasn't just Josh Giddey. It wasn't just Josh Giddey. He balled out, right? 15 points, 7 rebounds, 17 assists, and then he had 8 steals. So that's where the quadruple double almost came in, just 2 steals away. And then you had the rookie, Buzelis. He scored a career-high 31 points, 5 of 10 from 3. So everybody was just on last night. And I get it, it's the big lights of L.A. Chicago's coming for their lone trip on that purple and gold floor, that historic purple and gold floor. So they're going to ball out. Everyone does it. Everyone does it when they come to town. Now, we do play Chicago again next week, but it's in Chicago. But it's their lone trip to crypto. Yeah, to crypto, period. The Clippers aren't there anymore. So you can't even say, oh, they still play the Clippers. No, it's their long trip to crypto. So they were going to come out and they were going to ball. But This was not what we had in mind. Absolutely crazy. Patrick Williams, another four threes. He knocked in 4 of 7. So he shot 57% from 3. And then we talked about Giddy. Giddy only made 1 3, 1 of 2. So he didn't kill us from 3. But everyone else just absolutely crazy. The Chicago had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in double figures. 7 guys in double figures. Insane. It was just one of those nights. And really fast, I want to talk about this. I get it. Teams just get hot. That's the NBA. Teams get hot, and that ball just touches the bottom of the net. It happens. It happens on any given night. But it wasn't just that last night. It was just terrible defense. Absolutely atrocious defense, right? And that was a big concern of mine. Now, I'm not going to worry too much. I'm just going to chalk it up as just one bad game. Now, I figured that it would be a little rocky. You know, you're getting guys back. You got LeBron back. You got Rui back. Those are 2 major pieces to try to implement into the roster. However, on the defensive end, I don't know. I just didn't see that coming defensively. Offensively, I could understand, or it may be a little clunky. You got these 2 guys that's been out for a handful of games, handful plus full of games, really a dozen games. You know, they may be a little rusty. We're going to have to figure that out. And then you're integrating LeBron, Luka, and AR. They've been playing so well together, right? And now you're throwing LeBron in there, so you know that may be difficult to figure that out. This is only their I believe 10th game that all 3 of those guys have played together. So there's a lot to figure out there. But defensively, I just don't. There's just no reason or no answer to why they played the way they did. Now you can say, they've been playing on a string as of late. They've been connected as of late, right? All the good things you want to hear about a defense. They've been doing that. So you try to say, well, maybe integrating LeBron back into that. But no, I don't know. I'm just not buying that. So I'm just going to chalk it up as it was just a rough night. And I'm going to leave it at that. We get the opportunity to rebound later tonight, bounce back later tonight, which we'll talk about. But it was just bad. 146 points. There's no way to avoid that. You can't slice that up anyway. There's no excuses that you can make. 146 points is insane. And again, this wasn't to OKC. I could see it's against OKC. SGA comes in and drops a 45 piece on you, right? Or a 50 piece on you. Or Jokic comes in and drops a 40, 15 and 15 triple dub, and Jamal Murray balls out. No, it wasn't that. It was the Bulls. It was the Bulls, and no shade. Kobe White, he's a good player, really good player, but 36 points, like, come on. Josh Giddey, a quadruple double, like, come on. No. And Buzelis, 31 points, like, come on. No, that's unacceptable. The reason why it's unacceptable, because you're supposed to be a contender. You're a contender. You just dropped the game to the Bucks. I mean, got beat down by the Bucks. Now, granted, you didn't play everyone. Everyone was out. But still, you still just got beat down by 31 points to the Bucks, right? And then you turn around and you lose by another 31 here. Like, it's unacceptable. We're supposed to be making a push. You know, we're trying to fight for something. We're trying to claim the number 2 seed. So that's what makes this unacceptable. And you're supposed to be a contender. You have no business losing by 31 points. I don't care who's in the lineup. No reason losing by 31 points to a 40-loss Chicago Bulls team. That nothing about that says contender right there. Now again, I'm not gonna overreact or any of that. I'm just spitting spitting some facts here. There's no reason why you should have. Just no reason. No reason. Like, you got outplayed for 4 straight quarters. Well, the first quarter it was close, right? It was tight. Even the second quarter. Well, let's say a half. That second half, they absolutely crushed you. I mean, they were crushing you in the first half too, but you were keeping par with them. You were keeping pace with them. Third quarter, you were outscored by 12 points. Fourth quarter, crunch time, you were outscored by 16 points. So in the second half, I mean, you're outscored by what, 38 points in the second half? That's crazy. How do you allow a 40-win Chicago Bulls team to outscore you by 38 points in the second half? That is unacceptable, again, because you're a contender. You're supposed to be a contender. Contenders don't have, and yeah, they do have nights like that, but not mid-March. This is when we're supposed to be playing our best basketball, and we've been playing our best basketball. We already know what the Lakers have been doing since the deadline. We know what they've been doing since mid-January. I don't need to rehash all that. We know, but this is tough. Again, I'm going to chalk it up as just a bad night. The biggest issue that I had with last night, again, teams get hot. It happens. Teams get hot, and they're in for a historic night, right? But the issue that I had last night was the 21 turnovers from the Lakers. That was my main issue. 21 turnovers, and 17 of those turnovers were live ball turnovers. What I mean by that, live ball turnovers, you could have a turnover by throwing the ball out of bounds, or a turnover by traveling, or a turnover by whatever, right? Offensive foul, whatever the case may be. Live ball turnovers mean steals, means all that stuff. Steals, primarily steals, right? And that's what the Lakers did last night. 17 of the 21 turnovers were live ball. 8 steals from Josh Giddey. Insane. 8 steals from Josh Giddey. 2 steals from Kobe White. Horder had a steal. 2 steals from Vucevic. Come on, Vucevic, really? 2 steals from Terry. Steal from Collins. Just insane. Just insane. 17 live ball turnovers. And that's the thing. The Bulls aren't that type of team. They don't put pressure on you. They don't, again, the Bulls score a lot of points, but it's not transition buckets. It's not. It's them running their offense, right? They're not a high transition team. They don't score a lot of transition buckets, meaning where they force a lot of steals or whatever. That's not what they are. So it's just crazy. Luka alone had seven turnovers last night. 7 turnovers from Luka. Insane. That's unacceptable. Then you had another 5 from LeBron. Just man, it's just wild. Wow. I don't even know what to say. I really don't. But again, we're going to chalk that up as a loss. As just a random night. It is what it is. The one other takeaway that I have from that game is a potential problem or a potential area of concern moving forward is those big athletic guards. That's an area of concern for me, because what Giddey did, and what Kobe White did, athletic, shifty, fast guard like that, they were just running right past our perimeter. That's what they were doing last night. And we know what the Lakers have been doing is they've been really packing the paint and leaving the shooters open. That was their game plan that they had moving forward. But now, last night, you saw Kobe White just attacking. The entire Bulls team just attacked. And they ran right through our perimeter. So that's an area of concern for me. Like our perimeter defense, what do you do against these fast, athletic guards? What do you do against a bigger guard? I need to see how JJ and the staff, Brooks and everyone else, how they game plan for that, right? How they adjust to that. Because here's the thing, a game like last night, that game is now on tape. So everyone sees that, and they're going to try to mimic, what the Bulls did to us last night. They're going to try to mimic that. And I want to see how the Lakers respond to that. They're going to tell their guards, just attack, go, and score at the cup or kick it out. That's what they're going to tell their guys to do. And when you mention big guards, that's something that we'll see right away, because tonight, you got Franz Wagner. That's a big guard, a really big guard. And he's going to do the same thing that Giddey and that White was doing. He's going to put the ball on the floor and attack. We already knew coming in that our backcourt, it was a potential concern there, right? Defensively, from our back. Offensively, we're good. But defensively, there was already an area of concern there with Luka and AR. How would they hold up as a starting backcourt defensively? We saw how it was with AR and D'Lo. Now, it's more the same issues with Luka and AR. They're not the fastest backcourt. They're not the most athletic backcourt, so you can kind of go by them. But they've been holding their own. You got to give them credit. They've been holding their own. We've been able to hide AR at times. We've been able to hide Luka at times because everyone else stepped up their play. So we'll see how that all plays out. Now you're getting Bron back. Bron was a very major part of the Lakers defense, how good they were playing, all the way back since mid-January. He had stepped his game up tremendously on that end of the ball. So we'll see if he can get back to that form, integrate himself back in and get back to that. But, it is an area of concern, and you kind of saw it last night. And again, we're going to see it. We mentioned Franz Wagner. We're going to see that tonight. But then after that, you go to Indiana, same thing. You got Tyrese Halliburton, another big athletic guard. He's going to put the ball on the floor and try to do the same thing, and that's his game. Now he shoots a lot of threes, but when he's at his best, he puts the ball on the floor, drives to the cup because he's so big, he's so athletic. And then when he's scoring there, or when he's scoring there at the cup by driving, you got to put guys on him. You got to account for that, and put some help on him. And then he kicks it out, he dishes it out because he's such a great passer. So we'll see. We'll see how JJ and staff, how they make the adjustments that they make. Again, as early as later tonight. So we're going to see that, and then it'll continue against Indiana. But when you look at some of these teams in the Western Conference, a team like let's say like a Houston Rockets, same thing. They got a big athletic guard and Jalen Green there, so that could be a potential matchup that the Lakers have to face. And then the athletic guards, we know the West is full of those, from Ja Morant to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, to Jamal Murray, and so on and so forth, to Steph, right? So on and so forth, all these guys. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, I'm not going to panic too much. I'm going to say that was one game because the Lakers have been playing far too well on that side of the ball defensively for the past 3 months to, throw all that out the window because of one game. So I'm going to chalk it up as one bad game, and we'll see. Thank God we can get back to it tonight and try to correct this stuff. But that was something that I wanted to mention. That's the last thing I wanted to mention about that game. I'm ready to throw that game out the window and move forward. In fact, let's do that. So with the loss last night, the Lakers did drop to 43-27. They had a good opportunity to move up into the 2 seed because Denver was idle last night. After losing, Denver did suffer a loss. No, they weren't idle on Saturday night. They played, no, that was Golden State who played Atlanta, right? So Denver was idle, but Denver lost the night prior. Sorry, let me pull it up. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but let's just pull it up. So on Friday, so that was, no, my apologies. That was on, Friday night they lost to the Blazers, 128-109. So they were without Jokic. So we picked up some ground on Denver. We actually passed Denver up. We came in as a 4 seed after losing to Milwaukee. After losing to Milwaukee, we came in, we dropped back to the 4 seed. But then Denver turned around and lost to the Trailblazers, so it allowed us to move back up to that 3 seed. And last night we had an opportunity to try to gain some ground on Houston, who's occupying that 2 seed, they're currently riding 7-8 game win streak. So they're balling. They are balling. So we had a big opportunity to pick up a win last night. And it was the last game of the 5-game homestand. So you wanted to get that win. You really, really wanted that win. The Lakers righted their ship. You go back to last week, or 2 weeks ago now, on that they dropped that road trip, 0-4 road trip. They had a lot of stuff they had to deal with, injuries and all that stuff. But then you look at the overall picture, they had the 6 games, 8 nights. So they came home for a 5-game homestand, and they kind of took care of business at home. They did. They took care of business at home. And, over those 8 games, 6 games, 8 nights, they ended up going 3-3, which is, you can't ask for much more. There were a couple of other wins in there, maybe that Denver win. They lost on the last shot of the game, the final shot of the game. So it would have been nice if you could have snatched that one. But 3-3, you can't complain about that at all. Now you get your final home game before you go on this 4-game road trip, and you drop it to the Bulls. So it was just a frustrating loss, very frustrating loss, because you had an opportunity to close out the homestand. 4-1. You know, that could have been that homestand 4-1. Instead, you know, it's a 3-2 homestand. And again, you're going on the road now. So there's that. You know, you want to get that final win at home before you hit the road. But then just the opportunity to gain some more ground on Houston. Try to catch Houston in the standings, which we'll look at in a second. But then also, you know, just put some more separation between you and Denver. Because Denver has a tough game today. Denver, as I'm sitting and recording this video, it's Sunday afternoon. So Denver tonight, they actually play Houston, you know, in Houston. So that's probably an L there because Jokic is out again. He's going to miss, I believe, his 4th consecutive game, 3rd or 4th, 5th maybe, a consecutive game. So he's out against Houston again. So Denver probably drops that game. So you have the opportunity to get, you know, you had an opportunity to pick up some more ground on Denver. Now, again, this video is being recorded Sunday afternoon. So by the time you hear this tomorrow morning or Monday morning, this morning, as you're sitting and listening to it, you know, the results of that Denver game have already happened. So I'm speaking in future tense, if you will. We're going back to the future a little bit. But now, if Denver lost last night, which again, I'm going to presume that they do. So Denver lost, so it kind of evens things back out. You know, we're back in the 3 seed because they lost as well. So that's something. But again, had we won on Saturday night, it was just more ground or more separation. It gives us more room for error. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. Because as we take a look at these standings here, let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. I thought I had them up. Okay, here they are. These conference standings. So again, this is as of Sunday afternoon. We're tied with Denver in the loss column. But again, if Denver lost, then they'll drop behind us 28. So again, presuming Denver did lose or Denver does lose this afternoon, then we'll jump back up to the 3 seed. But again, the whole point I was trying to make is we'll jump up by half a game, so we'll be half or a full game in the loss column. But that could have been 2 games in the loss column. That's what that could have been. But it is what it is. Whatever. I mean, we could, yeah, you know, we can't pick up spoiled milk and put it back in the container. It is what it is. But the Rockets, on the other hand, now they are 2 full games ahead of us in the loss column. Again, this is assuming that they beat Denver. They beaten Denver on yesterday, on Sunday afternoon. So yeah, they're 2 full games ahead of us in the loss column. So it was just an opportunity to gain ground. You know, it was an opportunity to put some more separation between us and Denver and us and Memphis and us and the Warriors, us and the Clippers, because with that loss, now Memphis is only 1 game behind us in the loss column. With that loss, the Warriors are now only 3 games behind us in the loss column. And the Warriors also lost on Saturday. They lost to Atlanta. They were in Atlanta and they lost. So again, we could have put some major separation there, right? And could have put some more separation between us and the Clippers, who've been winning as of late. They're on a 5-game win streak. They also play on Sunday night, so we'll see how that results. But they're at the 7th seed. The Timberwolves, you know, they are now 4 games behind us in the loss column. That could have been 5 games, you know, had we took care of business. So again, we could just put a lot of separation between us, and we're trying to catch Houston. And I think that's important to do. I think that 2 seed is important for 2 reasons. One, the Lakers have been playing really well at home this year. Really well. Coming before that Milwaukee game, they were 29-7, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Give or take a few games there, 29-7 at home. And now they dropped 2. They lost 1 to Milwaukee, and then they lost 1 to Chicago. But home has been really nice to the Lakers. So, you know, you want as many home playoff games as you can get. And the Lakers would have had, all the way up until the Western Conference Finals, they would have had all home playoff games, right? They would have had the home court advantage. Now, again, until they potentially face OKC in the Western Conference Finals. But you never know. OKC could get upset in the playoffs, and then the Western Conference Finals could have had to go through Crypto.com Arena. But now, you know, you're dropping games at home. So, I mean, I don't know. I still think that they want that 2 seed for that reason. They still want as many home games as possible. If you can get up to the 2 seed. Also, the other thing is we won't have to face OKC until the 2nd seed. Until the conference finals, until the Western Conference Finals. So that was something that you want as well. Although, you know, that's what everyone's. I don't care. I mean, you're going to have to beat them anyway. You're going to have to play them anyways. So whether it's in the second round, the third round, whatever, you know, you're just pushing back the inevitable. You're going to have to play them. I want to beat all the good teams. I want to prove and leave I want to leave no doubt in everyone's minds that the Lakers are the Lakers, that we are the best team in the Western Conference final, the best team in the Western Conference. You know, I want to run through the West and get to the finals, and I want to beat up on Boston or Cleveland or whoever that may be, whichever 2 gets out of that. That's what I want to do. But again, if you can push them back until the conference finals, OKC back into the conference finals, then, you know, you want that. But even bigger than that, I just want the home court stuff. So again, you won't get it against OKC, but against everybody else, if you get up to the 2 seed, you'll have that home court. So again, I think that's why it's important for the Lakers to go after that 2 seed. The 1 seed, of course, we're not catching that. We're 15 games in the loss column, or 15 games back behind OKC. So they pretty much have that thing sold up. Now, let's look at the Lakers schedule. So they do hit the road, a 4-game road trip. 4-game road trip. So a big one coming up. Where is their schedule? As I try to catch my bearings here and find the Lakers schedule. Line everything up, and then it just gets disoriented. Lakers. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Lakers' upcoming schedule. Again, it's a 4-game road trip. So we're in Orlando tonight. And on Wednesday, we're in Indiana. So to take on the Pacers, which they've been playing some good basketball as of late. And then on Thursday, so we got a back-to-back this week. So you play Wednesday in Indiana, and then on Thursday, we see the Chicago Bulls team again in their house. So they're going to come out on fire again. So now it's how do we adjust? What adjustments do we make? And how do we respond? Can we get our get back? You know, get our lick back. So that's a back-to-back Wednesday and Thursday. And then you finish up the road trip in Memphis. That game is huge. That is next Saturday, or this Saturday, the 29th. That game right there is big, big, big. So again, that's your 4-game road trip at Orlando tonight. And then you have a back-to-back on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday in Indiana and Thursday in Chicago. And then you finish up the 4-game road trip in Memphis next Saturday. And again, that Memphis game is huge for standings purposes. Again, they're a game behind us. As this video is being recorded, they're a game behind us in the loss column. 1 game. So that game next week is going to be huge. Huge, huge, huge. And then after that, you follow that up with 2 more games, 2 more big games. So next Saturday, you're in Memphis. Then on next Monday, the 31st, you end the month of March against the Houston Rockets. We come back home for the Houston Rockets. And then on Thursday, the Golden State Warriors. So those 3 games starting off next Saturday, or this Saturday 29th in Memphis, Monday the 31st at home against the Rockets, and Thursday, April 3rd, at home against the Golden State Warriors. We're chasing the Rockets. Memphis is chasing us. And Golden State is also chasing us. So those 3 games are going to be huge. Huge, huge, huge games there. So, yeah, it's a an interesting schedule coming up, man, over this next week. Very interesting schedule over these next 2 weeks. Something that I do want to notice there, again, the back-to-back, take note of that, Wednesday and Thursday in Indiana and then in Chicago. But after next Monday, the Lakers get a rare 2 days off. So they play on Monday the 31st to end the month. They get a rare, 2 days off. Then they get Tuesday the 1st off, Wednesday the 2nd off before they play the Warriors. So they get to come home for a 1, 2, 3 game home trip. But they'll have a couple of days in there to rest some guys, and actually have a practice or do whatever they're going to do. So a very rare, and that's very needed, very much needed. 8 games. You had you had the 6 games and 8 nights, right? And then you have another including 3 sets of back-to-backs in there. You're coming out of that. Then you're going to have a back-to-back this week on Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, let's get to that March. Let's get to that Monday, March 31st game. Let's get a W there, and then let's get a couple of days off to try to give some guys some time. And because the Lakers, they're not healthy. They're not the healthiest team. Well, at this time of the season, who is healthy, right? But, we've had, over these last weeks, we've had a lot of injuries. We just got everyone back. But even getting everyone back, listen to this clip by Rui. Even getting that back, just listen to the clip.
Yeah, of course, the medical team, the coaching stuff, we've been talking about it, but we just don't know because, everybody else has a different issue too, the injury and all that. So we gotta kind of see how we can do. Of course, my knee's not 100% right now, so just gotta maintain and get back in the rhythm as a team. Of course myself too, but that's gonna be a tough one. I don't think we have no rest. We just gotta everybody gotta play these games and try to make to the playoff, and we can rest after. So.
What percent do you feel at?
It's like 70, 80, my knee's gonna be like that for a while, I think. I can't really get back to 100% right away, I gotta rest for like a long time to get back to normal. So, but I don't think we have that. So, yeah, we just gotta manage it, and
Thank you. Sorry about the sacks.
No, I know, yeah.
Last one, Dan. Rui, you just kind of touched on it. Where does the knee pain affect you most? Is it explosion? Is it just kind of general soreness while you're playing?
Yeah, it's just everything, this is one of those, whatever you do, jump, stops, slides, everything's gonna feel it, I just gotta, of course, my left, leg's gotta be stronger, still don't have the exposure, so that's gonna be the key for me, and just getting stronger, and all the movements, all the stuff, just everything gonna feel it. So I have to kind of manage it and play through it.
So boom, you hear that clip, and that's just telling you that Rui isn't 100%. He's not going to be 100%. He said that knee is 70 to 80%, and is going to be that moving forward. So it's just going to be something that he has to manage. So any days that we can get off, we want them. But at the same time, you got to win games. This late in the season, you have to win games. You got to play your best basketball here. So is that clip there that you heard from Rui, is that concerning to you? That's just that with that injury, that type of injury, rest is the only thing that can heal that. But we need Rui out there playing because we got to build this chemistry up. And we got to win games. So hopefully he can fight through it. He can manage it. I doubt he'll play on back-to-backs on Wednesday and Thursday. Again, of this week, we do have the back-to-back. I doubt, not even doubt, I'm 100% sure he won't play in both of those games, in those back-to-backs. He was on a minutes restriction on Saturday. How long would that continue? Will that be the case moving forward? He came off the bench because he was on a minutes restriction. Now, remember, before he went down, he was in the starting lineup. He was playing very good for us, very well for us. fitting in. And he went out. Of course, DFS had to step in. And then Rui returns after missing a dozen games. DFS stayed in the starting lineup. So will that be the case moving forward for the rest of the year because of that injury with Rui? That's something you have to manage. So it's probably just easier to bring him off the bench. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. But at least while he's on the minutes restriction, I'm assuming that will be the case because it's easier to get to those 24 minutes if he's coming off the bench, because you can play him down the stretch more, because you didn't play him the first 6 minutes of the game. So it just gives you more room, more wiggle room to stay within the confines of that minutes restriction. So we'll see how that all does play out. Now, Rui is listed as questionable for tonight's game. LeBron is also on the report, but he's always on the report. I think he's fine. But Rui, again, questionable, so that is something to highlight. Again, this is the injury report as of Sunday afternoon. So I don't know if there will be any changes by the time you're here listening to this on Monday morning. But we'll see. We'll see how that all plays out. If there are any updates, of course, we'll make a note of it on X. And if we have time, we'll get on here and break it down in the video. But that is your injury report. The Orlando Magic. Now, we looked at, again, we talked about these next 7 games at Orlando tonight, at Indiana, at Chicago, at Memphis. That's your 4-game road trip. Then you come home for 3 games against the Rockets, the Warriors, and the Pelicans. So over that 7-game stretch, I think the Lakers need to go 5-2. They really do. Let's start out with this road trip. You need to win tonight. You got to win tonight in Orlando. That's going to be a tough one. Orlando's a good team. They've been playing better as of late. They're finally healthy also. So you got to go in there and win that game to make up for the loss against the Bulls. That's why that Bulls game was so important at home before you hit a road trip. So you got to go into Orlando. You got to win that one. You just have to expunge yourselves of that loss on Saturday, right? And then at the Pacers, that's another one you'd like to get, but they're playing very well. It's going to be tough to go into Orlando and into Indiana right after each other. That's a tough 2 teams that are coming to their own. They've been playing well as of late, so I think you got to split that. Let's win in Orlando, and let's see what happens in Indiana. So you got to find a way to win one of those games, all right? And then you got to go into Chicago on Thursday, which is going to be difficult because that's the second night of a back-to-back. You got to go in there and you got to beat Chicago. You got to get your lick back against Chicago. And then in Memphis next Saturday, you got to go in Memphis. So you got to find a way to win that one. That's a big game. Big game. It counts for double pretty much because not only is it, that, but it's also a head-to-head matchup for a team that's chasing you, a team that's right there competing with you for that 2 through 5 seed. So that game counts as double. It really does. So you can't lose that one. You got to win that one. And then you come back home with games against Houston and Golden State. Now, ideally, you'd like to win both of those games, all 3 of those games, Memphis, Houston, and the Warriors. You like to win all 3 of those because, again, those are all teams we're competing for in these standings. But you got to find a way to at least win 2 of them. You win 2 of them, drop 1 of them. I think you're happy with that. We'll be happy with that. And then you got to beat the Pelicans on Friday, April 4th. You got to take care of that one. We can't lose to any more bad teams. That's what the Lakers been doing. They've lost 8 games since the break. 8 games since the break, right? But 4 of those games have been against bad teams. I mean, you had a loss to, or even before the break, right before the break, you had that loss to Utah, right? And then you came out the break and you lost to Charlotte. You had that loss to the Nets a couple of weeks ago, bad loss to the Nets. And then you had this loss to Chicago. So for the 8 that they've lost, right up until the break, have been against bad teams. So there aren't too many more bad teams on the schedule. You got Chicago again, which we spoke about. You got the Pelicans there. The Mavs, but are they really a bad team? The Mavs on April 9th in Dallas. I think AD will probably be back. It looks like he's inching towards being back. Last I saw, he was playing with the Dallas, their G League team, which means, he should be coming back soon. So that game for sure. I think he wants to play in that one. That's Luka's return to Dallas, his first return to Dallas. So that's going to be a big, big, big one, right? But I guess you consider them as a bad team, and then a lot of these teams you say they're bad, but they're not really. they're not really. Now the Pelicans, they have a ton of injuries. They just lost Murphy the third for the rest of the season. He's been playing well. And then, of course, Zion, he's in and out of the lineup. So they have a lot of injuries there. So you definitely have to win that one. But Dallas, again, if they can get healthy, we play them on April 9th. If they get healthy, they're not really a bad team. And they're trying to fight for something. And then you end the season against the Blazers. The Blazers have been playing really well as of late. So they're not a bad team. They have some guys there. So, again, there's not many bad teams left on this roster. Orlando, Indiana, you can't consider them bad teams. They're playoff teams in the Eastern Conference. But, again, there has to be a level of separation. Yeah, there just has to. The Lakers are supposed to be contenders. They're supposed to be in that top tier, where there's only at most a handful of teams. Boston, Cleveland, OKC, Lakers, and Denver. That's probably the handful of teams that you put in there. Maybe the Warriors, you try to include them in there, but they haven't been as hot as of late as they started out, right? So the Lakers are supposed to be in that tier. But when you're dropping games against Chicago, if you come in and drop a game against the Pelicans, if you come in and you can't beat the Grizzlies, Rockets, the Warriors, if you lose all of those, then, maybe the conversation changes, right? So, again, we have to take care of business. We have an opportunity to right this wrong. We have an opportunity. The 2 seed is right there. It is right there. 2 games back in the loss column. It is right there. And then, before we get out of here, I want to take a look at some of these other schedules, these teams that we're competing with. Okay, so you take a look at Denver's schedule. Let's start out with them. Again, we know, we talked about it. They have the game against the Rockets. As we're filming this, that game is 3:30. So that game tips off in 30 minutes. So that game will be decided. But that's a tough game for them. They play the Bucks. That's a big game for them, a tough game for them. They play the Nuggets. That's a big game for them. They play the Warriors after that. The Pacers at Sacramento, who's been playing well as of late. They have Memphis there, and then they finish their season up in Houston. So they have some tough games there. And they have some head-to-head matchups, so games that are very important for them against, just like we do, against teams that they're fighting for. 2 games against the Rockets, a game against the Grizzlies. So they got some tough stuff going, right? And then they're without Jokic. He's been sitting out, dealing with a lot of injuries, the elbow, the ankle, and so on and so forth. Now you take a look at Memphis' schedule before we get out of here. They got to go to OKC this week on Thursday. And then, of course, we got the big showdown against them this Saturday, the 29th in Memphis. So that's big. They play the Celtics. They play the Warriors. They play the Pistons. They play the Timberwolves. They play the Nuggets. And then they finish their season up against the Mavs. So, again, you look at these teams, we're not the only ones with tight schedule or tough schedules. So this stuff is going to work itself out. It's going to be played out on the court, and all this is going to be figured out. It could go all the way up until the last couple, the last couple of games. But if I'm the Lakers, we need to go on another streak here. We talked about these 7. You need to go 5-2, even 6-1. That'll be beautiful. Over these next 7, you do that, and then I think you kind of set yourself up. You could, again, there's a lot of head-to-head matchups with these teams, not just us, but all these other teams also. Head-to-head matches with those teams from the 2 through 6 seed, if you will. So all this stuff could work itself out. But again, if you go 5-2, 6-1, you'll kind of start creating some separation, right? Not only, I think if you do that, I think you'll catch that 2 seed, but you'll create a lot of separation there where the final week of the season, you could probably steal some rest for some guys. You're not playing where it's a must win. That final game against the Trailblazers on April 13th, which is Lakers' final regular season game. You're not having to play everybody 48 minutes or having to play everybody that one because you got your seating locked up. You get what I'm saying? So now you got to you've again those 4 losses that we talked about: Utah, Charlotte, Brooklyn, Chicago. Those 4 losses there, you're making things more difficult for yourself than they have to be. You know, those are games you needed to get. And even if you just win 2 of those games, you're sitting in a different situation. You win 2 of those games, you're sitting in the 2 seed right now. And you got a lot of ground between those teams behind you. But no, that's not the case. So now you're going to have to get some big wins, some good wins. And something that they can't do. They can't play down to their competition. Again, there's not a lot of games on here left on the schedule where those teams are bad, like really bad teams. So you got to bring it every night. That's the end of the story. You're going to have to bring it every night. And it's going to be fun to watch because, again, this thing is going to go down to the wire. I'd like to see the Lakers offense look better. Again, Luka, he finished with 34 points. He had 31 in the first half. So in the second half, he only scored 3 points. We're going to need some of that to carry over into the second half. We're going to need Rui, to step in and get back to playing the caliber of basketball that he was playing. Again, he missed 12 games, so there's some rust there. LeBron, he started out a little rusty, but he picked it up in the second half. We're going to need him to get back to where he's been. Austin, that he's been playing great as of late. We're going to need him to continue that. Jackson Hayes, we know how big he's been. We're going to need much more of that. And, yeah, man, let's just get after it. Let's get after it. Again, game day tonight, Lakers versus Orlando in Orlando. So that'll be a fun game, a big game. They got some players there, and Paulo and Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr. They got some good players there, so that'll be a fun matchup. And they've been playing well as of late. Quick note, it is an early tip-off. So it's a 4 p.m. tip-off here on the West Coast, 7 p.m. Tip-off East Coast. So make a mental note of that if you plan on watching the game later or listening to it later. Again, 4 p.m. tip-off. And then you got the same thing on all these games are early tip-offs because they're East Coast. So it's a 4 p.m. tip-off tonight, a 4:30 p.m. tip-off on Wednesday in Indiana. Then you got 5 p.m. tip-off in Chicago, and then a 5 p.m. tip-off in Memphis on Thursday and Saturday. So just again, if you plan on watching the games or listening to them, again, that just wanted to make that mental note for you. My time is up, but really fast, quick programming note. You can catch me every Tuesday and Thursday over on the Bleacher Report app for Lakers Daily, 30-minute show, Tuesday and Thursday, every Tuesday and Thursday. We're there on the Bleacher Report app, 4 p.m. Pacific time. So 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So make note of that. If you don't know, or if you haven't known, that's where I've been while we haven't been over here so much. We've been over there on the Bleacher Report app a lot, covering our purple and gold. But again, you can catch me for a live show over there on Tuesday and Thursday. And we'll be back here for our LOE daily pods. So look out for those. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and join the family over here. And then also turn on that notification bell. So whenever we are here, when a video drops, or if we pop up for a live stream, which we haven't done one of those in a minute, but we'll get back to that. If we do a live stream, you get that notification, you can come talk to us and hang out with us doing that stream. But in the meantime, you can always find me over there every Tuesday and Thursday. So I wanted to, make sure you guys knew about that. And we'll tap in with you guys in the next one, man. Let's get this W tonight. Let's get that sour taste of defeat out of our mouth from Saturday night, that 31-point beatdown. Let's get rid of that by going into Orlando, getting a W tonight, and then pushing forward into Indiana and back into Chicago, and let's get some wins there. Let's go, man. It's time. It is time. It ain't a lot of games left. What we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 games remaining, including tonight's game. 12 games. 12 after tonight, 11 games. So they are dwindling down, and every game matters. Every one of them. They all matter in these standings, right? Because like you see it, you lose one night and you go from 2 down to 4. Or you win and another team loses and you go from 4 back up to 2 or up to 3, right? It's very, very tight. And the Lakers got the pieces. You know, I like what we got. I like what we got in our pocket. I like the dogs that we're going to war with. And it's going to be fun, man. It is going to be fun. But enjoy the game tonight, and we'll tap in with you guys in the next one. As we always say, purple and gold till we die. Purple and gold we ride. I bleed purple. My heart beats gold, baby. It is and always will be. Lakers over everything. We out, man. Peace.
He's still got it.
Lakers Nation, LOE fam, thanks for watching, man. We greatly appreciate you. Make sure you like this thing up. Make sure you share this thing out. Make sure you subscribe. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to LOE, baby. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And make sure you turn on your post notifications. Hit that bell, hit that bell, hit that bell so you don't miss anything going on here at LOE. Follow us on the socials. Instagram at Lakers_over_everything. Twitter at THEE1 LOE. Once again, Twitter at the1 LOE. Purple and gold till we die. Purple and gold we ride. I bleed purple. My heart beats gold. It's Lakers over everything.
Can't sleep, can't eat till you get it right. Oh, all my life I've been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, gotta pay that. Pay the price. Can't be real, but I'm living the life. All my life I've been grinding all my life. Lakers, baby. Yeah. You know what it is. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Yeah. You know what it is. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Yeah. You know what it is. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Yeah. You know what it is. Purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. Yeah.
I'm a Laker till I die. Rest in peace, Chick Hearn.
93-70. This game's in the Admiral refrigerator. The door is closed. The lights out. Butter's getting hard. The eggs are cooling, and the Jell-O is jiggling. Been jiggling for a long time.
Mama didn't raise no failure. It's go hard to go home, I tell you. If you ever seen blood, sweat, tears leaking out of me, and you can hear my heart scream, it's sick.